Came down and shared, right before davening, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when was it? Like 2 weeks ago? And these words came to me during davening now. It's from the Megillah, and it speaks about how the re-Kabbalas of the Torah took place, right, in the time of, the Gemara says, Hadar kiblu avmi Achashverosh, right? So the pasuk in the Megillah says, Kimu v'kiblu Hayehudim es asher chelu lasos. There's a whole mimer, it's in Chabad, not Frierdiker Rebbe, I think, that the whole Inyan of Purim was that the Kabbalah Torah was Es Asher Hechelu Milashon Chol. They figured out in Purim how Chol, how you could take the mundane and make the highest Torah in the world from it. They weren't sure how to do that after Har Sinai. They weren't really sure. It wasn't really established in them. But that's the Simcha of Purim, is Asher Chelu Lasos. They started to really take in the Torah in a much more profound way in Olam Hazeh. So this is, I'm not sure it's the words, but I'm feeling connected to it now because it's Erev Purim. Kiyemu v'kiblu haYehudim es asher chelu Asayis Kiyemu v'kiblu haYehudim es asher chelu Asayis Havavadar kiblu b'yemes b'simcha u'b'yava Havavadar kiblu be'ahava Ay havadar kibelua B'yemes besimcha u'b'yava havadar kibelua b'yava Eday 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay 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 da 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 ya ma 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ya ma da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay came over kiblo hayehudim es asher chaynu lasois came over kiblo hayehudim es asher chaynu lamasois avavadar kiblo b'yemes besimcha u'b'yava avavadar kiblo be'ava ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da 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 Thank you for the harmony. Thank you for the harmony. This whole month of Adar is sponsored by the Aron family in honor of their 20th wedding anniversary, Mikey's 18th birthday. Shachar and Alex Avram celebrating a year of Aliyah, and their wedding anniversary. Joe and Jonah Brook in memory of Chayaleh Bas Yosef. Brent and Julie Eisen in memory of Zelda Reifel Bas Meir Chaim. Anonymously for the Refuah Shlema of Chole Klal Yisrael. Today's specific, the whole week by Eva and Josh Gonsher. In honor of Josh's birthday, and get ready. In honor of Josh, you could see what he's in. You could see right now what kind of parsha he's into. And in honor of the Gonsher's 1.5 year Aliyah anniversary. All the midas of the Mishkan, Chatzayim, it's all there, all the halves. And today specifically by Batia and David Rich in honor of Batia's special birthday and Batia and David's 21st wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. So let's admit it, it's not really been an easy Adar. It really hasn't been an easy Adar, Bichlal, and by now usually, by today's Yud Beis, right? What's today? Yud Aleph? What's today?
It's Yud.
Yud. Today's Yud?
It's Rachel's birthday.
Today's Yud, sorry. By now, 10 days in, you normally feel already some kind of like everyone flying and and you'd feel a fire. Now there is a fire, it's just a different type of fire. So I'm praying, like I was thinking, okay, maybe today we're gonna, do something completely different and just like get Adar on, even though we've been learning Baruch Hashem. We've been learning in the mornings now this week, some amazing stuff from Rav Kluger. We'll continue next week, but I decided to stick to end today's parak, and we got a gift, because the end of this parak, which has nothing to do with Purim, has to do with Purim. So, Rabbas Machshavas B'Lev Ish, If you can open up, please, the Daf Kuf Aleph. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol na'im b'dvarim. Amen. Bottom left column, Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter is continuing, telling us that the reservoir of love is found in when your Shabbos is on, which brings you to tshuva me'ahava, which brings you to a shleimus of the bria, which brings you to, I don't even know what else to say, because there have been so many just beautiful Torahs here that he's been sharing with us. But the following thing is something that unfortunately many of us could relate to, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. אכן מובס מהבעל שם טוב הקודש, זכוס יגן עלינו, עצה נפלאה. שאומנם רק הבעל שם טוב הקודש יכול לתת עצה כזאת. Only the Baal Shem Tov could say such a piece of advice. היה זה כאשר הגיע לבעל שם טוב אדם שבור ומדוכא כחרס הנשבר. A broken down Yidla came to the Baal Shem Tov. Why? מחמה שבנו יצא לתרבוס רע והשתמד רחמנא ליצלן. His son checked out. Big time. Checked out a Yiddishkeit. When we say Shmad, that means not just like he stopped keeping Shabbos. Shmad is joining the Rachmana Litzlan, the other side. This chassid comes to the Baal Shem Tov, says, my son checked out, right? Mi yuchal leta'er et omek ha'ke'ev shel ha'orim b'tzara gdola va'ayuma kazot. Who could fathom the pain of parents in such a horrible, horrible situation? We freak out when our kid doesn't get up for minyan. This Abba freaked out that his kid was getting up for another minyan. Everything in proportion, right, boys? Everything in proportion. Vayudi halazeh amad b'vchia noira al Baal Shem Tov v'za'ak. He's standing before the Baal Shem Tov. He's screaming, Rebbe, tznu eitza. Give me some advice. Eini yachol lisbol hatzar. I can't take this pain. What could I do to bring my son back to me? And this is true not only for kids, Khalila, that end up like this. This Eitzah is true for everything and anything. This is Chassidus, okay? Eitzah achas yesh li avurcha. I only have one piece of advice for you. Shetachnis ahavato belibcha. Tachnis ahavato belibcha. What does that mean? Tachnis ahavato belibcha. We know what it means, the words. What does that lamaisa mean?
Don't forget to love him. Love him more.
Yes, correct, but more. What more? Huh?
Feel the love.
Feel the love that you're going to love him more. Feel the love that you have for him. This is the diuk. Yeah, love him. Feel that it's not about him feeling your love. This is a very deep thing. It's about you feeling the love for him. This is so monumental, and it's so huge, and it seems like it's not a big deal. It's game-changing. Tachnis ahavasa belibcha. He doesn't say tachnis ahavasa avascha belibo. Tachnis ahavasa belibcha. Why? That's the Eitzah. He's still going to church. Rachmana litzlan. Tachnis ahavasa belibcha. What the Baal Shem Tov says. Ahava gdola bli mitzarim. A profoundly boundless love. V'titgagea elav. When you feel the love, you'll just long to be close to him, and not just stop wanting him to be achil Hashem. Like stop wanting him to stop being achil Hashem. You're going to go around that whole thing of like, oh my God, this kills me because it's achil Hashem, as opposed to, I miss my son so much. Tachnis ahavaso belibcha. And he says, when you long for him like that, when you start mitgagea to your son like that, Kach totzi oto mitziparnei haklipas. This is actually how you remove him from the tzipornaim, from the nails of the other side of the klipas. This is your son is caught. He's caught in klipas. It's not the time to go into what that means right now. It's also, frankly, impossible to really understand what that really means. But we know this. It just means being grabbed by the other side, being grabbed by the darkness. The way to take him out of pidyon, a shavui, captivity. He's in captivity. He's in captivity. Taking him out of there, the way a yidla, the way a chassid takes anything out of captivity, is by taking the heart, taking the love, and putting it in my heart. Usually we think, make sure that they know that you love them. That's the chitzonius. The pnimius of it is, make sure you feel the love that you have for them. Ahava, Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter says, Hi haneshek hagadol vehamo'il beyoter. It is the most beneficial weapon. Tova chokhma miklei krav, it says in Koheles. Chokhma is much better than any weapons that you use on the battlefield. What's the chokhma here? So what is the wisdom here? Le'ehov et hazulat besimcha, leduno lekav schus, le'orer ahava elav. You know, it's so, these days in Eretz Yisrael, I know there's like this little bubble we live here in Shirat David, but things are happening in the country. It's pretty wild out there. To be able to me'orer the love we have for other Yidden in our heart is so hard. Because we've gotten so confused that when I think someone is doing something that's opposed, like mamish destroying the binyan of Kedusha, it automatically means that I don't have love for them. And that's the biggest sheker in the world. But it's also the hardest avoda. So hard. Remember one month, I don't know when it was, Kevin Ross asked such a tmimistic question. He always does. But one of his tmimistic questions he asked on the WhatsApp, on the BMT list, he was talking tmimistic about hating, right? What was the question? Do you remember? How could we hate? Does anyone remember? It was so tamim.
How are we supposed to love those that want us out of where we're living or something like that?
Mashu kazeh, yeah.
We've had Jesus.
Yeah, but it was so real. It was so tamim, like mamash tamim. He says, when you do this, when you have this dan lekav schus and you me'orer love towards them, this is an inyan acher legamre. Az lo nitfas etzlo ra'ayin. Then the ayin hara doesn't catch over there. Lo nitfas etzlo midot ra'ot shel kina v'nekama. Jealousy, revenge that you want to take on them, on Yidden I'm talking about right now, right? These things don't catch, they don't chop you up, they don't get swallowed up in it. V'gam hayira atzma Hashem yizbarach hayira acheres legamre. And you know what else happens? When you absorb the love and you allow yourself to feel the love that you have to someone, even your yira of Hashem starts to take a different function as well.
Interesting, because we say that about simcha as well. Every single word here, that there's no ein hara, there's no jealousy. It's like the love and
Beautiful.
simcha. What's
Beautiful. I mean, I'm sure it's in the same mishpacha. Yira haba mitoch ahava. Love, awe that stems from love is a completely different type of awe, right? Love that stems from awe is also a different zach, but awe that stems from love is a different avodas Hashem. And this reservoir of love, ve'ahava zo, nitzan nirchosh b'Shabbos kodesh kamur la'el. Everything we just said right now about the ability to go further, the ability to go to this place. This is what you eat is koina on Shabbos. Now, I want you to understand. During the week, this vort is really, it's very, very difficult because of the following notion: is that many times when kids kivyochol check out and stop hanging out with places we would like them to hang out and whatnot, the parent immediately goes into one of two places. VC, right? Victim consciousness. I guess maybe it's the same thing. Or, I'm a failure. I failed. And the Baal Shem Tov says that is the Satan himself trying to suck you in to the darkest place in the world. Mamish, it's the Satan. It's the other side. The only Eitzah at that moment Targish tachnis ahavaso belibcha. That's the only thing right now. This is your kid. This is your kid. It's true what you said and what you said. Love him more, but don't forget to love them. All those things are true. But don't forget that you're supposed to feel the love that you have for them. Don't forget you're supposed to feel that extra love. But just to feel it. Why? He says, I can't explain this. Baal Shem says, I'm not going to explain this to you, how Kabbalistically this works. But your son right now is caught. He's caught by the tzipornaim, by the nails of the other side. What do you think is going to get him out of there? What do you think is going to get him out of there? A father allowing himself to feel the love he has for his son will get him out of there. Where do you buy this kinyan? Where do you make an acquisition on this? Shabbat. Shabbat Kodesh. Through everything we've learned until now, this, to me, seems to be the most lemaisa. The most lemaisa. Because, let's face it, it's not just kids that, again, on Shmad. I'm sure you all have these discussions all the time. It's not just shul rabbis that have these discussions with parents about what are we going to do, our kids aren't interested in whatever, fill in the blank, right? Tachnis avasel belibcha. But we're so big on tachnis, what? Ahavascha belibo, right? We think that's our inyan, which means what? Make sure he knows you love him. No. Right now, there are too many mechitzas right now between you and him to interact like this, for him to feel anything. Ma piton.
And also by doing so, he'll feel the love even more. By you actively loving him more,
Feeling the love that you have for him more,
he'll feel it even more.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's not necessarily that the other side even knows about it.
He has no idea of it. He has no idea of it.
So would this extend even more than the child? Child is like, it's fine, but how do I love the guy, whatever, collecting money for victims of Hawara program? How do I do that?
On him?
Yeah, like, same.
Today's Tanya was all about this exact thing. The Jewish neshama you do love. You don't like the way he's behaving, but you have to separate. It's not the yid that you don't
If
like.
you're able to love a person if you're able to love that, right? If you're able to love, to really love, then you can love the person and hate the actions. And that's it. Now this is the height. This is the height. This is what the Baal Shem Tov's father told him on his deathbed, basically. Don't fear anyone. Love every Jew no matter what. Right? This is like the essence. It's the yesod. Yitamu chatayim min haaretz. Doesn't say yitamu chotim min haaretz. So this is very, very important. Like no one has changed their mind. No one has stopped doing something that ticks me off because of my dislike of it. But many people are willing to, I think, change their ways when they sense that there's amazing, immense love that we've planted in our hearts and we're allowing ourselves to feel it. And you should know, for me also, this week, that Yid has been one of the hardest Yidden for me to love.
Yeah, I was like...
Hardest. And I saw yesterday a video of the mother of the two boys that was killed. It is heart-wrenching, but even she would say the same thing. She would.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like we get strengthened by these
All the time.
all the time.
All
I
the
feel
time.
like strengthened.
All the time. So on Shabbos, there's such an awe, there's such a yichud, that this kinyan of this type of love, see, Sasha, during the week, I shouldn't even try. It's too hard. On Shabbos, that is when I make a kinyan on being able to love like that, because only on Shabbos I go beyond the mechitza. Mamash beyond the mechitza. It's too deep.
Why is that harder?
It is possible, but this thing happened during the week. We haven't had a Shabbos yet to draw the strength from in order to act out that love. Didn't happen. This happens Sunday?
Yeah.
When did it happen?
Sunday, Monday.
Right? Whenever it was. We haven't had a Shabbos yet. We haven't had a kinyan of ahava, the way that he's speaking about it yet, to do it with. And that's why it seems almost impossible. You have to go through a Shabbos. A lot of things you have to go through a Shabbos in order for them to be like a bris. Right? There's a lot of inyanim like this. And this is like, we have to realize this is available to us every single Shabbos. I mean, I should be a kavanah for us tonight when we're dancing our brains out. And there's going to be, by the way, there's a whole chevra coming here for Shabbos of real fire Yidden. You're going to see some beautiful neshamas here this Shabbos. I mean, you see every Shabbos beautiful neshamas, but there's a whole group of really gewaldige, beautiful neshamas here. So he continues. Top left. Yeah.
You're saying about like we developed that ava with Hashem, which becomes contagious that we could give to other people as well.
You could say that very clearly. Yeah. Other people feel it's contagious. It's contagious. Remember, for a few years, a few months, I don't know how long, we were freaked out that everyone's so contagious and the whole world flipped over from that side. So it could also flip over, it could flip over the other side, labriyut. So this is the chavra. What we just learned, the last 10 minutes, should be, I'm actually going to cut that and send that out also because it has to be chazered over and over and over and over and over again. This is it. This is the nekuda pnimis of all this Torahs we've been learning. This is what we just learned right now. It is our Yiddishkeit is our homes, our children is dependent on it. Our Havas Yisrael is dependent on it. Dependent on it.
After the Ason in Meron, Shalom Kinam, the Ahavat Israel,
Right.
Chinam,
Right.
that's the nekuda that he hit home the absolute most.
Nachon.
We live in such a world of extreme, we forget that we're able to separate
Right.
the action and the actual neshama itself.
Nachon.
So, I guess the source is Shabbat that allows us to.
Ki hi mekor habracha. Top left. Now look what he says here. This is pretty wild too. Anu ro'im she'atorah shel sod mati velo mati ne'emra b'Shabbos Kodesh. Anyone that learned Likutei Maharan Chof Daled, 24th teaching Likutei Maharan, is a Torah that Reb Nachman said Friday night. It was in 1803. So in 1803, he's already in Breslov. He's already living in Breslov. And a bunch of the Hasidim came for Shabbos. And he said it's such a mind-boggling Torah, the 24th long, complex Torah of Daled. It's called Mati Velo Mati. That means you reach, you touch, and you don't touch. You reach, and you don't reach. You feel it, you don't feel it. So this was said on Shabbos Kodesh, third line, Shesham muva inyonim nizgovim v'sodos elyonim. I mean, there are such high and profound concepts and supernal secrets regarding the godel malas asiyas mitzvah b'simcha, regarding the exalted level a yid reaches when he does a mitzvah b'simcha. It's not just that it's important to, you're actually plugging into the deepest worlds. Ve'az, Reb Nosson gave this, said over, Migodel he'aras panav mamiras Torah niflo v'loizo, from the exaltedness of the moment of saying over this Torah on Friday night, Haya nitzrach Rabbeinu HaKadosh lilvosh masve. Rabbi Nachman had to put like a cloth over his face. Ki kashe haya l'shomim lehabit befanav ha'meiras me'od. Because those that were sitting there couldn't look at him. So he said, well, the Torah has to come down, but no one can look, no one can handle it, so he put a mask over his face.
That's a nice, contagious analogy.
Umarenu Reb Nosson atzmo meid al mare pnei Rabbeinu HaKadosh b'Shabbos Kodesh. Reb Nosson testified to what Rabbi Nachman looked like on Shabbos. V'haya b'saro mazhir umavhik b'Shabbos Kodesh harbe yoser mi'emos achol. It's not just that he had a shine. His flesh was literally bohek. I don't know how to say that in English.
Glowing.
Yeah, mavhik. Yeah, I guess so. Huh?
Glowing?
Yeah, yes, we say, yeah. The flesh itself. Reb Nosson says, this is when he would give over Torah on Shabbos. So Tomeret, any Yiddilah, Rabbi Nachman's a little bit more of an extreme, but when you allow yourself to place the love that you have for Hashem into your heart and feel it, you look different as well. You look different too. If before you go home right now, today's a Friday afternoon, today's a Friday, and it's getting a little bit longer, as if that makes it less stressful. It's the illusion of all illusions, right? If you could decide from the shir that before you go home, you are going to be machnis. Now again, Shabbos isn't here, so it's a little bit harder access. But if you decide, I'm going to be machnis, the love that I have for my children, into my heart and feel it a bit more, before I ask them to do anything, and before anything happens regarding the achana of Shabbos, I guarantee you, it'll be a different Friday and it'll be a different Shabbos. But it takes a lot of guts to do this and train yourself to do this, all the time. Weiter. The Sefer Bnei Yisachar, maybe just again drilling this inyan of this kinyan of Ahava on Shabbos. The Heilige Dinover, Reb Tzvi Elimelech of Dinov, in the Sefer Bnei Yisachar says like this: Shabbos is b'gematria Ahava b'chol lev, Ahava b'chol nefesh, Ahava b'chol me'od. Right? So loving Hashem with all your heart, loving with all your soul, and loving with all your might is the gematria of the word Shabbos. Ken shamati mikvod mechutani Rav Kodesh, the Ziditshover, again, the Bnei Yisachar is saying, I heard this in the name of my father-in-law, the Ziditshover. Shabbos yu klala deoraisa, deine klala Torah hu ledovka bo yisbarach shmo at kan leshon HaKodesh. We've seen this in the past. But look, this is what I wanted to get to. Look at Kuf Gimel. This is what I told you before. This is when I realized it was probably a good hachlata to decide to learn this today and not jump to a Purim Maimer. Yesh gili mi Rabbeinu HaKodesh al godel koach harotzon dekdusha ma shemizgole leinenu belikutei Moharan Torah Nunchet. There's a revelation from Rabbi Nachman. By the way, if you look at the bottom over here, see Aleph? So this was Rabbi Yaakov Meir Shechter giving over this following words during a Purim Seudah in the year 2000. I know, it's nuts. This is Sefer has nothing to do with Purim. You realize that, right? Okay. It has nothing to do with Purim. It's not like we learned a ton just so that we could say we...
Anybody wondering if Hashem loves our learning?
Right. So there's a gilui from Rabbi Nachman on the greatness of the koyach harotzon of Kedusha. What is revealed to us in front of our eyes in the Torah Nunchet. A Torah Nikras Tlas Nafkin Mechad, 3 coming out of 1. Omnam hi Torah hashayeches lePurim. It's a Torah that has to do with Purim, Torah Nunches. V'Rabbeinu marbe sham bidrushim kedoshim beniflaim, and you should look inside if you have a chance before Purim, Torah Nunches and Likutei Moharan. Aval beinehem, between all these Torahs he has on the greatness of Purim and the depth of Purim, yesh gam uvda lemaise beinyan Shabbos Kodesh. Kisham megale Rabbeinu sheShabbos shehu tshuva me'ahava he milchemes Amalek ha'amitis. Shivers. Shimun HaRabosai. Now you imagine, the middle of the Seudah. Shimun HaRabosai. Chidush shenischadish lanu b'yom HaPurim. Ha'avoda b'milchemes Amalek. So we usually say, and we would like this, we have a tzivui, Sammy don't kill me, we have a tzivui on both fronts. We have milchemes Amalek. We have to wipe out everyone that wants us dead, and that's a lot of people. And it's a lot of people. En ma lasot. I'm not saying this al das atzmi, al das Rav Soloveitchik, who gave us a clear explanation who is Amalek today. It's anyone that's trying to kill you. There are a lot of people that live here that want to kill us. If Am Yisrael was bari, kmo shetzarich, we would mekayim that mitzvah of milchemes Amalek without questions. Wouldn't be confusing. It wouldn't be a shaila if Am Yisrael was healthy. That's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, he's saying like this: Ha'avoda b'milchemes Amalek, he ratzon ve'ahava. Ratzon ve'ahava. How much ratzon and how much love do I have? Ratzon for what? Dikdusha la'Hashem Yisbarach. For holiness to Hashem Yisbarach. Ubeshabbos Kodesh efshar lahasig yoseh ve'yoseh mizeh. And on Shabbos is the time that I receive more and more from this reservoir of ratzon to want to be close to the Ribono Shel Olam, ratzon to want to be close to what's meaningful in the world. Now, why is that? Why do you think he's saying over there that is actually the keneged milchemes, the milchemes Amalek? Very simple, huh?
That's the main thing the most.
Asher korcha baderech. Exactly. Krirus, getting cold means I'm okay with not being on fire for Hashem. So you may go to Gan Eden because you're not doing any averes, but even in Gan Eden, you're going to sit there and you're going to be freezing. You're going to ask for a blanket. Same thing.
Not feeling the love.
Bidiyuk. I love my child. Do you feel the love for your child? Same zach.
Or Hashem.
Same zach. Same thing. All these things we know. Now, to be honest, Chaver, like with all the Torah and Pnimius we're learning all these years, at a certain point, it's got to be a achlata that the tefillah is, Hashem, I want to actually feel all these words I'm learning. I want to feel it. I want to feel it. With all the techniques and tzaddikim you've said to us, I want to feel it. So, Talmidei Chachamim, and I felt this so much with Rav Ginsburg this week. Talmid Chacham is called Shabbos, right? We've seen this before. In the Gemara, in the Zohar HaKodesh, they're referred to Shabbos. And at Talmid Chacham, all the stuff that we're saying about that it's only really accessible to us on Shabbos, to answer your question, they're operating on it like already Yom Shekula Shabbos. They're living in that the whole week. It's always like that. So, but by being by tzaddikim, and I can't encourage it enough, spending time, being in the presence of righteous people, giants in Torah, those that are living on these levels like this, is me'orer in us a ratzon. I don't know exactly what it is, but I want to be like that. Right? I don't know exactly what it is but I know that my ratzon is, this is what I want my life to be more like. Right? I can't put words to it, but this is what I want it to be more like, right? And I just have to tell you, and even if you don't understand what they're saying, like was the case for most people this week, and I warned you all. I warned everybody here. I don't feel guilty at all. Like I told everybody in here, you're not going to understand anything. Even with the screens, you'll understand very little. That's fine. Why? I want to tell you the following message. I got this message from someone that was watching the stream online after the shiur. He said, I just want to tell you, the truth is, I really couldn't follow most of what the Rav was saying. But I was looking at the presence of someone that was living in a state of dvekus and ratzon and ahava. And something happened that when the shiur finished, every cloud I had in my life I felt was removed. And everything that was holding me back by being a better person and doing good, I feel has been lifted from me. And I immediately called the vad of my shul where she lives, and she joined the Chesed committee to start taking on brand new initiatives. The tzaddik is me'orer a ratzon for ahava. That's the tzaddikim are doing. The me'orerim ratzon for love. When a tzaddik passes away, what's the pain? Over them? They're steiging with Rashi. Don't worry about them. They're fine. They're better than they ever were. It's us who's going to be the pillar of awakening me to this place that knows how to fight Amalek, Moshe Tzarich. That's what they're doing. Their hisayrus they give me are the weapons in order to fight Amalek. Like he was saying over here in this sikha. And he ends off here like this so beautifully. Kol dodi dofek umischanen lefaneinu. The voice of our beloved is banging on the door and is begging for us. Pischili, open up the door for me. Shlomo HaMelech says in Shir HaShirim. Hashem Yisbarach, and on Purim that knock is so loud, but we're not scared to open the door and finally say, come in. Hagam lichbosh esamal v'bamish. You could take the words of the Megillah and say, just come in. Come in already. It's okay. It's going to be good. It's not going to be too intense. I'm not going to lose my marriage. I'm not going to lose my friendships I'm not going to lose my chaverim. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Kol dodi dovek umischanen lefanenu. Pischili, open up for me. And what do we have to give? What do we have to give when Hashem says, open up for me? Ratzon. Ahava Hashem Yisbarach. Yom HaShabbos hu yom maleh ahava. Shabbos is a day filled with love. Maleh shefa, hashpa, maleh birkas Hashem. Yom shel hashpos tovos. Ve'ahava kedusha kazo, hamechayeves lehov es Hashem Yisbarach. There's so much love and holiness that it almost obligates a person to do what they're already naturally gotten to, which is to love. Yom shel ahava, a day of love. Hefech Amalek, which is the exact opposite of Amalek. Shehu hasone ha'amiti babri'ah. Amalek is the quintessential hater within the framework of creation of the world. He's the hater. Shabbos is exactly the opposite of that. Exactly the opposite of it. Such a pele atzum that these words came today in today's shir Erev Shabbos Zachar. It's unbelievable stuff. I give us a bracha. We should be benched. The Yosem belibeinu ahavaso veirasa, and we should feel it. And not just Hashem should put it in our hearts. We should put it. We should actively choose to right now, before we even go home, just to put in our heart why we're doing what we're doing. Why are we working? Why are we spending this money for Shabbos? Why are we working hard to take care of what we're taking care of? Just stop and think about it. Put it in your heart and feel it. And like this, go into Shabbos and wipe Amalek from the face of this earth, Be'ez Hashem. Amen. Also, just reminding everyone, whoever, Matanas Levyonim, I've been collecting Matanas Levyonim, as is every year, Baruch Hashem, by us, if anyone's new, like, you haven't been here yet for Purim, our home from 4:30 on is open, Purim Day. And Baruch Hashem, I don't have to. You'll see. You'll see. From 4:30 on, ad Motzei Shushan.